America. I think most people would agree this is the world's best country for roller coasters. We've seen about 3,000 come and go, over 800 currently operating. So, coast to coast, you have no shortage of great coasters to ride. That being said, there's a whole world outside these shores, and in some cases, there are coasters on other continents that we don't have. And in some cases, they're coasters we really want. Today, let's go around the world and make Santa our wish list. These are the best models America wishes it had. First, I want to thank my Patreons and my new members, Cough Coasters, Jason Lee 42, and Michael Schultz. If you want bonus access, bonus content, behind the scenes videos, a shout out when you join, and your name on this fancy Patreon screen, follow the link below and join. Before I start, I want to point out a couple models that America used to have, but no longer do. Two of these are fine being gone, starting with the Togo stand-up. King Cobra left Kings Island in 2001, and Shockwave at King's Dominion left in 2015. That was it. Goodbye to a not so great model. 4 of these still operating, 3 in Japan and 1 in Italy. The Intimin Zaxpin also made a brief cameo in America. Green Lantern first flight at Six Flags Magic Mountain being removed in 2019, but 3 more live on, and they're all over Europe, Spain, Sweden, and Finland. And then, there is one really cool model that we once had and lost, the Togo Ultra Twister. This opened at Great Adventure in 1986, moved to Astroworld in 1990, closed with the park in 2005, and that was it. This awesome looking unique experience still has 3 operating models in Japan, and I hope they stick around for a long time. Number 15, the Special Bat Car Experience. Okay, not an actual coaster model, that's why it's number 15. But really now, how is it possible this hasn't found its way to America yet? Right now, it's popular in Australia. Most of the major coasters that have opened in the last 8 years have had this. An upcharge backwards bat car, or a spinning bat car. It's an endless stream of revenue with very little overhead, and it provides an awesome experience. I wonder if a ride like Copperhead Strike could have done it, and Cedar Fair decided not to. Extra money for the parks, a bonus ride experience for the park guests. You have to think this will make its way to America very soon. Number 14, the Intimin Water Coaster. We had something like this once upon a time, Pilgrim's Plunge at Holiday World. But that was not a roller coaster, just a flat out water ride, but it was very similar. The standout element is that elevator lift. 164 feet tall, the experience described as terrifying. Very open and super freaky, followed by a big shallow drop and then some coaster track and a splashdown. These don't look super thrilling, but for that elevator lift alone, it'd be super cool to have one back in the US. Number 13, the Gerslower Bobsled. There are 16 of these out there, and it was actually Gerslower's first coaster ever going back to 1998, Gesenkte Sau at Tripsdrill. I got to experience a pair of these in Europe, Thor's Hammer at Gers Summerland and Wildemusse at Groenland, and I was super impressed. These are like Wild Mouse coasters, but not really. It's like they're part of the Wild Mouse family, but they are in no way Wild Mouse coasters. These layouts are more complex and drawn out. They have nice airtime hills, helices, and the ones I rode were insanely smooth. For as many Wild Mouse coasters as we have here, it'd be nice to mix in a Gerslower Bobsled. Number 12, the Pax Wild Train. This Russian manufacturer has spread these wacky coasters all over Europe, 13 total. And these masquerade as family coasters, but look like they offer some insane forces. These aren't all the same, but you look at the layouts and it's the same idea. Sharp elements in a small package. The one at Fantasiana that just closed is the most famous one. That one was said to be an airtime machine. So you'd think some small park in America, Knoebels, Waldemere, Family Kingdom, Fun Spot, you name it, they'd benefit from a small, compact, thrilling ride like this. Number 11, the Mach Inverted Powered Coaster. This debuted at Mach's own showcase park, Europa Park, opening Arthur in 2014. This seats riders 4 across. The cars can move on their own axis, so you're traveling forward and suddenly you're sideways. It's got on-ride audio. This is a perfect type of coaster for a Disney or Universal park. A great option to mix theming and thrills. And since 2014, we've seen these go to Dubai, Beijing, and one's coming to Mexico's Bond Luxury Theme Park next year. Number 10, the Gerslower Infinity Inverted Coaster. It took us a while to get the basic Infinity coaster here, but now we have Monster, Hang Time, and we will have Palindrome at some point this year. But in 2023, we saw the first inverted Infinity coaster, and after riding the prototype at Norway's Tusenfryd, I can say with confidence, this would be a big hit anywhere it goes. Storm the Dragon Legend is a powerhouse of forces. A short ride, but I loved it, using a swing launch to get up to speed. Last year, they opened a more traditional lift hill version of this, Avex at Colombia's Parque del Café, very compact and snappy. Again, a small independent park would love a coaster like this. Number 9, the Maro Spike Coaster. In 2017, Maro came out with this weird single-rail motorbike-style powered coaster, Sky Dragster at Germany's Skyline Park, going into sharp hills and tight twists and turns. That was followed up by Desmo Race at Italy's Mirabilandia. This time, guests could choose when they want to accelerate, and Six Flags Qiddiya is even getting one, Sea Stallion, featuring almost 1,700 feet of track. You also find these on some cruise ships, so maybe if one of those docks at a US port, you can kinda sorta say, we have a spike coaster. These are unique, maybe not super thrilling, but would be a big draw at a US park. Number 8. Dynamic Attractions SFX Coaster. Like the Gerslower Power Inverted Coaster, this would be perfect for a park that wants to mix theming and thrills. Disney, Universal, get a coaster like this. As the manufacturer suggests, it's so dynamic. The track is very agile. It can move based on its theme. The track can spin around, tilt forward or backward or sideways. It can launch. It can go upside down. The first one we saw came to Ferrari World Abu Dhabi, and there's another one being built in Malaysia. It's been teased for years now. We're still waiting for that one to open up. This is not a coaster that fits every park's need, but I can just imagine the fun Disney or Universal would have with this, seeking the storyline with all the tricks this coaster can do. Number 7. The Intimin Vertical Launch Coaster. We have seen 2 of these as of right now, and they are very different. The one thing they have in common is a vertical launch lift hill. Storm Coaster opened at Dubai Hills Mall in 2022. This kind of being a coaster inside a silo, resembling a polar coaster a little bit, working its way down the tower and going into 2 inversions. You'd think an indoor park like Nickelodeon Universe could use something like this. The other one is more intriguing, coming to Russia's Dream Island this year, rocketing up a 167-foot tall lift, diving straight down, into a sprawling narrow layout, mixing airtime in 4 inversions. This seems like it would fit in anywhere, especially at a park that has real estate problems and need to cram something into a narrow plot of land. Number 6. The Intimin 10 Inversion Coaster. I know, inversion-based coasters aren't all the rage in America, at least not since the 1980s, but it's still amazing. We have 7 of these 10 inversion coasters around the world, while Steel Curtain took home the US record with 9 and still hasn't been touched. These don't have the best reputations, but given how many they've built in Europe and Asia, you'd think one would have found its way to America. After all, it would own the American inversion record, and that alone seems pretty marketable. The best part looks to be that quad heartline roll, 4 of these all in a row. We just don't have anything like that in the US. Number 5. The Intimin Hot Racer. Shortly after RMC introduced their first Raptor, Intimin showcased their version of a single rail coaster. These didn't seem as extreme. They had tire launches, they had lap bars, but they still had inversions. I wasn't too excited about this at first, but after having ridden the prototype at Australia's Luna Park, I was hooked. This was, in fact, intense. Punchy launches, strong airtime, lots of whip. This was in no way the family-friendly version of the RMC Raptor. We would actually see the family-friendly version of the RMC Raptor in 2021. It's called the Large Park model. Intimin opened their second hot racer at France's Walibi Rhone Alps in 2024, and have another coming to Russia's Dream Island. For those parks who want a low-capacity single-rail coaster, but maybe don't want to work with RMC, Intimin has a great option right here, and it seems to be a hit. Number 4. The Vekoma Top Gun. Vakoma has a bunch of models that we haven't seen in the US yet, but some are just one-offs. Some are very similar, but one that has really taken off is the Top Gun. This is a launched looping coaster, no shock, but everything about this is compact. Small 2-car, 8-seat trains, 4 inversions, 3,000 feet of track, a sweet-looking rollover camelback to start off, and we already have 4 of these open in China, and 2 more are on the way. Capacity may be an issue with smaller trains, but when you look at the parks that could use a compact launch looper, parks like Kentucky Kingdom, this seems to be as good of an option as any. Number 3. The Mach Ride Striker Coaster. We saw this debut just last year, the latest model from Mach opening at their own Europa Park, Voltron immediately becoming the premier coaster to open in 2024. This coaster can do it all. Vertical lift hills, a vertical bounce track, a turntable, multi-pass launch, including airtime hills, 7 inversions, 4,500 feet of track. Not saying every Striker coaster has to be this amazing, and we will see this put to the test in 2025. We're getting Striker number 2 at Austria's Phantasiana, the replacement for the aforementioned Wild Train. This called Helios and only sporting 1,500 feet of track. This just shows this model can be extended for parks that want a premier coaster, or it can be shorter for parks that want something short and sweet. Number 2. The Vekoma Launch Flying Dutchman. I mentioned the Vekoma one-offs, but this one looks so good, it deserves a spot high on this list. This is Fly at Germany's Phantasialand, and this one stands out for being placed inside its own village. When Vekoma sells our next launch flyer, this probably won't be the case, but it doesn't have to be. These are interesting enough on their own. We've seen a total freeze on flying coasters as of late. B&M took the mantle from Vakoma in the early 2000s, but it's been almost 10 years since their last flyer. So, the concept of a launch flying coaster can be very appealing, even if you're just going to slap it in the parking lot and have it wind around itself. Flying coasters have a lot of moving parts, but they're very popular and marketable, and advertising America's first launch flying coaster, it sells itself. Before we get to number 1, let's take a look at a few models that never made it to the US, but also weren't good enough for this list. the Intimin Suspended Looping Coaster. Only 2 of these were built, one in Spain, one in Finland. One has 3 inversions, one has 5, and this model was pretty much dead by 2001. America had something similar in Volcano, the suspended catapult coaster, but we missed out on Intimin's version of the SLC. The Intimin Twist and Turn Coaster. If you combine the cars on Haunted Mansion with a roller coaster, this is what you get. These didn't last too long, in production from 1995 to 2002, located in South Korea, Brazil, and Taiwan. That being said, all 3 of these are still around. The Intimin Wing Rider Coaster. I'm talking about Furious Boco as Spain's Port Aventura, a one-off model in 2007, using a hydraulic launch to get the train from 0 to 84 in 3.5 seconds, while you're sitting on the side of the track. The Vekoma Wooden Coaster. You definitely don't equate Vakoma and wood, but in 2000 and 2001, they got 3 open, all in Europe. Six Flags bought 2 of them for their Wallaby parks, and Tusenford got the other one in Thunder Coaster. This one I got to ride, and despite being ungodly rough, Vakoma did a great job with that layout. The SNS Screaming Squirrel. Between 2005 and 2007, SNS built 1 per year, these being a one-trick pony. That saxophone element hanging riders upside down for a long period of time. These died off pretty quick, Man War in China being the last one in operation, and that one's been dormant for over a year. Still, if you didn't find yourself in Italy, Russia, or China, you never got to experience this weird coaster. The SNS 4th Dimension Coaster. We do have X2, that's our saving grace. The original 4th Dimension Coaster, the one that ended up bankrupting Aerodynamics, and the only reason SNS started building these, having bought Aero's portfolio. The SNS version is even bigger and more refined than X2. Aishinika in Japan, Dinoconda in China, and it would have been nice for SNS to build one somewhere in America, but it was a bit unrealistic to buy a coaster that would have maintenance issues and would be too extreme for a lot of your guests. Even then, you'd think Cedar Point or Busch Gardens would have taken a chance on it. Last one, the Intimin Exo Coaster. I can't in good faith put this on the list. No, it's not in the US, it's in Saudi Arabia. Probably one of the few places on Earth this could actually exist. No park or chain with any kind of budget restrictions would ever take a chance on a coaster this massive. Over 600 feet tall, 14,000 feet of track. As awesome as this would be in America, who the heck would ever build this? It would just be irresponsible and almost for sure would get someone fired. Okay, now, onto the top coaster that America wishes it had. Number 1, the Mach Rides Hypercoaster. We have 4 of these in the world now. Flash at Liwa Adventure in China being the first in 2016, Hypercoaster at Turkey's Land of Legends being the same thing, 200 feet tall and sporting the world's tallest loop. So, that rare Hyper Looper. Their other 2 Hypers are more traditional, but get absolute rave reviews. DC Rivals Hypercoaster at Australia's Movie World is amazing. It lived up to the hype when I got to ride it last year. All the airtime and whip you could ever want. This year, Hyperia at Thorpe Park opened up. A much more compact version, but no less extreme, having insane angles, inversions, airtime and hangtime moments, and has been a big hit ever since it opened. This is definitely a big park option. Magic Mountain could use one if they ever tear down Viper. Busch Gardens Tampa may want to give this a look. Maybe the 2 big Herschend parks, Dollywood or Silver Dollar City. Whoever it is, get one of these Mach Hypers in America. It would become one of the best in the entire country. That's a wrap on the best models America wishes it had. Let me know what you think of the list, and if you have anything else to add, sound off in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, and if you're new here and love coasters, please give me a sub. Also, check out my second channel where I post copyright-free off-ride footage. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.